So far, the Mets have the Braves number. They've met 4 times in this early season, and the boys from the Big Apple have won every game. They've gotten timely hits, and they've made the big plays, and that has left the Braves frustrated and winless. So tonight, young Randall Delgado takes the mound and hopes to turn things back around for Atlanta here at Turner Field. The Mets and the Braves square off in Game 2 next. It's time for Braves baseball, and indeed we join you from Turner Field, where the flowers are in bloom, and we hope the offense will be in bloom too. Yes, it's been that kind of series already, folks. It's Game 2 of the set. The Mets and the Atlanta Braves here from Turner Field. We're off to a flying start. Here we go, folks. Joe Simpson, Tom Glavine, and Chip Carey with you. The Braves have not beaten the Mets this year. Time to get the offense back in gear. And with that in mind, Joe, Freddie Gonzalez sends out a new lineup tonight.
Well, he doesn't want that broom to strike. You know, he's going to try to avoid the sweep, so he's going to juggle his lineup a little bit. He's taking Martin Prado out to give him a rest tonight. Jason Hayward swinging a hot bat. He's hit in 6 straight, so he moves into the 2-hole. And really, there are a couple of guys in this lineup against Johan Santa who've done some damage. Michael Bourne's one of them, 5 for 14. Matt Diaz, are you kidding me? He had a couple of hits against him in New York. He's including a double, 17 for 34 with 4 doubles. And they need these guys to do some of that damage again tonight.
And Tommy, Johan Santana looks like the Johan Santana of old. That's great news for the Mets. It may not be great news for the rest of the National League.
Well, it may not be, and he has kind of been good news, bad news. He's pitched awfully well here early in the year for the Mets coming back from major shoulder surgery. 2 good starts. The bad news for him is they haven't scored any runs for him. So hopefully that trend is going to continue tonight, and those guys that we showed earlier offensively can make some things happen, and the Braves can get on the board here against the Mets.
A little bit of a rain shower about an hour and a half ago here at the ballpark, but the skies are clearing. It's a beautiful night for baseball, and indeed the flowers are blooming. Let's hope the bats are booming. Maybe Freddie Freeman and Ike Davis can show off their great glove work and the lumber too. Tom Hart will get us caught up on that when we return in a moment.
This three-game set between the Mets and the Braves as the Braves look for their first win of the season against a team from New York. Welcome back, everybody. It's turned into a gorgeous night for baseball here, and we've seen fantastic defensive play at first base from both sides. Two guys who get it done in different ways. Ike Davis for the Mets has fantastic range, which helps with some of their deficiencies at the second base position. Meanwhile, Freddie Freeman at first has long shown a great glove and fantastic handwork, and he takes great pride in the job he does, helping his teammates out a little bit.
I take a lot of pride in my defense. A lot of guys, you got three guys, sometimes five, pitcher and catcher, depending on you to catch it over there. So, I take a lot of pride in it, and, just to see their faces when you do pick one of those balls, it's a great feeling for me, and also it's picking up my teammates.
He picks everybody else's stuff, and, I probably have 4 less errors, if he'd pick my little two-seamers I throw to him, But, in all seriousness, he does. He saves me over there all the time. And, I've kind of grown fond of this big 6-year-old kid over here. He's fun to be around. Keeps me going, keeps me laughing, and I'm lucky that I've got a chance to play with him early on in his career. He's a special young player.
And by the old school metrics, they both measure up. Neither one has committed an error this season, and Freddie Freeman tied for the lead in the majors, being a part of 11 double plays. Should be a great pitching matchup for you as well tonight. Johan Santana goes for the Mets. He was fantastic opening day. And Randall Delgado looks for his first ever win against the Mets in his first appearance against New York's National League club. Chip, Joe, and Tom will be back with the starting lineups at first pitch from Turner Field right after this.
Getting a Chipper Jones autograph or two before the Mets and Braves play Game 2 of the series. Lovely night for baseball. Wind blowing toward the right field corner. Rains have gone away, and we wish the Mets would. Braves have dropped 4 straight against them here in the 2012 season. Same lineup for Terry Collins. Why not? You've got Ike Davis and Jason Bay, 2 big boppers. Both of them homered last night.
Randall Delgado makes his second start. He's only 22 years old, 6'3", 200 pounds, out of Panama. Made his first starting as Houston right at the end of the last road trip. Picked up a win, gave up only 2 runs in 5 innings, struck out 6. One of the runs was on a home run in the first inning. His 4 keys to success tonight include getting some clean innings, getting some 1, 2, 3 innings. That'll help save on his pitch count a little bit. Seems like he's always got people on base. And when that happens, he seems to speed up. And I remember in Houston, when they got a base runner on, it was like he was trying to avoid any chance at a stolen base, and everything became almost a blur. He was working so fast. So if guys get on tonight, try to slow down a little.
Well, and that's something you really have to try to keep under control. You can worry about that runner all you want at first base, but It doesn't do you any good if you don't let him steal, but you're backing up home because there's balls being hit in the gap. So you got to focus on making a good pitch first, and if you can control the running game along with it, then that's great.
So he's ready to go. So's Ruben Tejada. He's the Mets shortstop. Tejada 1 for 4 with an RBI last night and a .289 batting average. And 1 pitch, 1 strike. We're underway. 69 degrees the official temperature. And first pitch, wind swirling around. Now blowing straight in. And a little low to even the count. Paul Schreiber will have the plate tonight. That's Tim Welke, Mike Estabrook, and Mike Everett. And at the knees, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Mike Everett last night, Schreiber tonight. They let you know right away what the pitch is. I like that. Randall's mostly a fastball changeup guy, but just working a lot on his breaking ball to make that an equal pitch to his changeup.
Sounds like
his delivery's a little different than most because it's pretty stiff almost when he takes his arm back.
Chopper to Chipper. Bare hand try. Amazing. Chipper gets Tejada. 1 man down.
Sometimes I think he'd almost rather pick it up barehanded because it gives him a little better arm action on this throw instead of having to just kind of take it out of his glove and short arm it. And why not? He's so good at it.
He still makes that play as well or better than anybody in the game.
Here's Daniel Murphy. Murphy at .263 so far this year. Only 5 strikeouts. It's the ball in play, and he's a tough man for the Braves to retire, and that continues with 1 out. Murphy was 5 for 13 in the series in New York. That's his first hit in this series at Turner Field. The rest of the Braves defense. Matt Diaz gets the start in left field. Night off for Martin Prado. Tyler Pasternicki back in there at shortstop. And Brian McCann works behind the plate. Here's David Wright. And let's see what kind of tempo and control Delgado has with his first runner on here in the first inning.
Well, they haven't been running much. They only have 1 stolen base. They've only attempted 4. So it's not cause for a lot of concern. Shouldn't be any red alert out there if you're on the mound.
An idea. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
When you're trying to break down David Wright, he's what I view him as is a right-handed version of a left-handed hitter. He likes the ball down and in, does a really good job of keeping that ball fair, and loves the ball up out over the plate. And I think he hit a home run on a pitch out over the plate in New York to right center field. So you got to be careful there and be careful repeating.
Delgado strikes him out with a 93-mile-an-hour pitch. 2 outs.
Can't make much better pitch than that.
No, you can't, and especially following the pitch previous to it where he tried to go in and missed in off the plate like he should and made David move his feet a little bit. Now you can get that outside pitch looks even a little bit further outside when you make a hitter back off the plate like that.
Back-to-back good games for Ike Davis, the Mets first baseman. He's homered in 2 straight, including the big blow here last night. That was a 3-run homer in the 6th that broke open a tie game.
93 fastball to an 80-mile-an-hour changeup. Good start to this at bat. Too many curveballs in a row and one that was left out over the plate in the big blow of the game.
Yeah, if he'd have thrown that for strike 1, probably would have got away with it, but after seeing 3 of them, that was too much of the zone.
High fly to left. Diaz has it. Randall Delgado breezes through the top half of our first inning tonight. Johan Santana to the mound. Scoreless game. Now Atlanta comes up. As we mentioned, a different looking lineup for Freddie Gonzalez tonight. Jason Hayward with his hot bat moves to the number 2 spot in the batting order. And with the left-hander on the mound, Matt Diaz gets a start in left field. He has worn out tonight's Mets starter, Johan Santana,
who is 33 years old now, 6 feet 210, out of Venezuela in his 12th year. 13 career starts against the Braves and a lousy record, but check out the ERA. A lot of that because he's not getting any run support at all when he pitches against Atlanta. A 1.7 mark, and has not been given a run to work with while he's been in the game this year in his first 2 starts. His Ford keys, how about at least 1 run, please? And dial up Diaz, figure out something on Matt Diaz, who is 17 for 34 against him.
Ball 1 to Braves leadoff man Michael Bourne, who has a 4-game hitting streak. Michael 1 for 5 in the series opener last night, batting .244. Pop fly foul left side. Bay gives chase. Tejada sliding try and no chance.
Remember the other day when I was talking about Michael Bourne hitting the ball the other way?
As you see the rest of the Mets defensive lineup tonight.
When Chipper was really applauding Michael's work hitting the ball to left center. Well, Ron Gant gave me a note today that, and he was talking about that he had discovered that so far on the year, when Michael tries to pull the ball, he's 2 for 18. When he hits the ball to center or to left center, he's 8 for 15 on the year, which bears out why they were encouraging him so much in BP to try to hit the ball up the middle into left center.
Let's see what he does now with a 2-2 pitch.
Santana has walked 5 batters in 10 innings. It's a high number for him. Michael doing a good job at keeping his hands inside the baseball there.
Good fight. We'll see an 8th pitch. He shoots that ball toward left. May going back, still going back. It's off his glove. Bourne around second, stops there. Leadoff man on for the Braves.
Jason Bay can go up over the wall to get him, but you keep it in the ballpark, you got a chance.
Yeah, I think
E7.
That's a play I think he's going to tell you he needs to make right there. I know it's always tough going back on the ball. He gets turned around a little bit, but that's a play he knows he's got to make. And for the way things have been going for Johan, right now you're thinking, I can't let that guy score. I'm going to lose the game in the first inning.
Right. 1 run's a lot against him right now.
So Jason Hayward, a 6-game hitting streak, will try at the very least to get Bourne to third base.
I was going to say, welcome to the number 2 spot, Jason. Here you go.
And one reason why he's swinging so successfully is much better work against left-handed pitching this year. Jason had 20 hits all year long last season against Southpaws. He's 5 for his first 15 in 2012.
Much improved in a lot of different ways. And he is 3 for 5 with runners in scoring position this year, which is just about best on the team in that category. And one of those hits was that one in Houston where he was trying to get Ugla over to third base, just tried to hit the ball to the right side and wound up with a base hit and an RBI.
Fly ball hit well toward right. Duda going back, tracks it down. Bourne was halfway to third. He retags and is going to try, and he's going to make it. Hayward gets his man to third, 1 out.
Michael was going to score if that gets over his head, and with his speed he's able to do that and go back and tag and still advance. He's one of the few guys on the team that can do that. Good job by Jason.
Here's Chipper. Looking for RBI number 6. An early Braves lead.
First inning run would be big against this guy the way he's been pitching. earned or otherwise.
Fly ball toward left. Bay stumbles, makes the catch. Bourne tags, and it's 1-0 Atlanta. The Braves manufacture a beautiful opening inning run.
Tommy, I'll go back to what I said earlier tonight. We were talking about their difficulties hitting with runners in scoring position. I think the team has been doing a real good job of situational hitting. It's just in the runners in scoring position numbers that show up and are kind of glaring.
Yeah, I agree with you. They've done a good job of playing that ABC baseball, but they can't seem to get that big hit or that big 2-out hit with runners in scoring position to play a run or two. But they definitely have done a good job of playing that little baseball when they've had the opportunity to do it.
2 quick strikes to Braves catcher Brian McCann. Popped up. Tolley gives chase, and no play. The shift. Murphy from short right field retires Brian McCann. But Mets killer Chipper Jones tallies another RBI against the New Yorkers. The Braves lead by 1.
Tom Hart back at the ballpark behind the wall in left field, and so far left field has been an adventure for Jason Bay earlier tonight, but last night he was sensational. He took a home run away from Jack Wilson right up against this wall, and watch the replay right between the 2 letters and the Geico sign. Now Jason Bay and Jack Wilson are longtime teammates at the Pittsburgh Pirates. Wry smirk from Wilson after the grab, but if it looks familiar, rewind the tape. September 16th of last year, he did the exact same thing to Alex Gonzalez, exact same spot. Put them side by side, and Jason Bay has found a home up against the left field wall, and he also found a way to save 15% on his car insurance.
All right, Tom, thank you very much.
That was great. That's just uncanny, isn't it? I liked your line, Chips. He must hate Braves shortstops.
Yeah. Alex Gonzalez last year and his former teammate Jack Wilson of the Braves this year.
Well, he gave us one back tonight.
He did indeed.
And he leads off the second against Randall Delgado. Tom?
Yeah, I asked Jack after the game last night. I said, you know, you got a chance to see your teammate. Did you say anything to him? He said, no, but I'm going to text him later on, and it will not be a pretty one.
Popped up. Jason Hayward in shallow right. And he's got it for the first out. That would have been a huge run in the game last night, too. Remember, the game was tied at 1. Would have put Tommy Hanson back in the lead. And for Jack individually, it would have been the end of nearly 2 years between home runs in the big leagues.
Yeah, it's too bad for him, too bad for the Braves. You never know what might have happened if they had taken the lead there and how Dylan G might have reacted to that if he might have pitched a little tighter and been afraid to make another mistake.
1 ball, no strikes to Lucas Duda, the Mets right fielder. Line drive toward right. Jason Hayward tracks her down. Duda hit it right on the button, though. 2 outs.
I can tell you from a hitter's perspective, this is a heartbreaker. You hit one headed for the gap and you hit it on the line right on the button, and somebody races it, tracks it down like this, like Jason does when he races over there to get it. Good play by the Braves right fielder. Pitchers don't mind it either, do they?
No, we don't mind at all when you make a mistake and you get away with it.
Strike 1 to Josh Tolley, the Mets catcher. Tolley's hitting .375.
Check out that on base percentage. He's walked 6 times too.
And he's only struck out once all year. Braves have seen enough of that guy, haven't they? Dylan G. As Tolley walks for the 7th time, and it comes with 2 outs.
Yeah, they got to figure out something a little different against him. They had some good luck against him at the end of last year on the 5th and 6th start he made against him in the season. But last night, 1 run in 7 innings.
Kirk Neuenhuis at .292 with a homer. Delgado's had a base runner in each of his first 2 innings so far tonight.
Tommy, were there times, I mean, his changeup tonight's very good. He seems to be locating it nicely. Were there times when you made a start where you were thinking, I really don't want to throw a fastball tonight? My changeup's so good. I know I got to show him a fastball.
Yeah, there were certain nights where, any particular pitch, but for me, obviously, my changeup, you felt like you could throw it all the time. But, you still got to mix other stuff in to get him off it a little bit. And I think most of the time, when you're going to be successful some way or another, you've got to establish your fastball. You got to pitch off of your fastball, even if it's not your best one or your best movement or anything on a given night. You still have to show that you're going to throw it to keep those hitters honest and keep them off that other stuff.
Lined and caught at first by Freddie Freeman. New and ice, and the Mets retired in inning number 2. Been playing in tonight's ball game, and it's the Braves' Freddie Freeman with the first nice play of the night. 1-0 Atlanta here in the second as we join Beth Keener for the first time. Hello, Beth.
Guys, I have a tweet here from Lauren. She says, question for Mr. Glavine. What do you think makes Johan Santana stand out as an effective and feared pitcher?
Well, that's a good question. And up until the shoulder surgery, what made him so good was that he was one of those rare guys that could throw hard and he can locate. And he has a plus off-speed pitch in his changeup that he can throw at any time. So as a hitter, you got to cheat to get to his fastball, and then, oh, by the way, he can drop that changeup on you. So it's really difficult. I think now, where he's lost a little bit of velocity with his shoulder surgery, still going to be a guy that can get it up there pretty good, but he's going to rely on his location.
And guys, how important is it for Major League Baseball to get a guy like Johan Santana back and pitching well in the media center that is New York?
I think it's extremely important. I mean, look, you obviously you want your big media markets to be playing well, and or at least to have guys that people can identify with. And on this team with David Wright and Johan Santana, those are two big guys to build around.
I think in light of some of the, I'll call it, financial struggles the Mets have had the last couple of years, I think it's so important for their fan base too to have somebody to latch on to again.
Pop fly foul off the bat of Dan Uggla. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And it was here where he made his last start prior to all of his surgeries back on September 2nd of 2010 when he had to come out of the game because of his shoulder.
He's the kind of guy that, regardless of what the team is doing, even if they're having a bad year and he's having a good year, he's going to have fans come out to the ballpark and have fans tune into the TV every 5th day to watch him pitch. And I'm sure they're getting even more of that now because the curiosity. People want to see how he's going to bounce back, and so far it's been pretty good.
He loses Dan Uggla, who has a leadoff walk in the second. Well, in baseball, 1 or 2 years seems like an eternity. People may not remember that Johan Santana is one of 5 guys in baseball history with 2 unanimous Cy Young awards. Not 1, 2 of them.
And in that stretch, in that 5-year stretch that included his 2 Cy Young awards, he was in the top 5 between 04 and 08 every year, including the 2 years he was unanimous winner.
So he loses Dan Uggla and now has to face Matt Diaz. This is one of Joe's keys to the game tonight for Santana.
I don't know if it's dial in Diaz or figure out a way to reel him in. The double he hit off of him in New York was a shot to right center because he was willing to take that off speed pitch the other way.
2. He did take a shot at right. And it's back to the screen. 2 balls and a strike.
About his home run he hit the other night against Milwaukee. Matt said, I was just glad that I remembered my trot. It had been a while.
August 29th, 2010 to be exact for Diaz.
Something tells me they don't forget how to do that.
Off Randy Wolf and a no doubter.
I had the Ryan Flesko bat flip going.
Yes, he did. Ryan was here at the ballpark the other night for that Milwaukee series.
Two and two.
I love Ryan's bat flip. It's kind of like Dante Bichette. It's like right after they hit the ball, the bat became so hot they just couldn't hold on to it any longer.
The seats to the left side now for Matt.
That's got to be a little frustrating for Santana, knowing that Matt likes to go the other way, willing to go the other way, so he tries to buzz him inside, maybe with a cutter there, and Matt still stayed on it. No stride, got his hands inside it, didn't keep it fair, but he hit it pretty hard.
And I guarantee you that pitch was influenced by the 1-0 pitch where he threw a nasty borderline changeup, and Matt didn't even flinch at it. So I think in Johan's mind he's thinking, well, he's sitting changeup.
And it almost decapitated Santana. Wow, a line drive right back through the box. Whew. 2-1, nobody out.
Right about now he's saying, yeah, I was right. He was sitting changeup.
That wasn't just a screamer back at him. That was a low screamer. That was a get down. Woo! Dang. Good thing he fell off to the side a little bit.
So here's Freddie Freeman, a night off last night. Great chance for the Braves here. 2 on, nobody out. Santana over 30 pitches now in the game. And ball 1. Take you a pitch or two, Tommy, to get the nerves back under control after a comebacker like that?
A little bit. Your heart's pumping a little bit because you know you got lucky right there, and you had a close call. So yeah, your heart's going a little bit. You got to get things back under control.
Freeman thought that was outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Freddie got a day to watch yesterday. Freddie Gonzalez said he wanted him to just take a break and fighting it a little bit. 0 for his last 12 and looking for his first hit at home.
Now Tolley will talk it over with Santana. Tejada will join the conversation too.
After that last called strike, that Freeman kind of had a look at Paul Schreiber as the catcher went out to talk to the pitcher. Schreiber kind of came out, kicked a little dirt off the plate, and looked like he told Freddie where that pitch was. Like it was to him a good pitch, thought it had the corner or whatever. And Freeman just nodded.
Nodded. Okay. I still don't believe you, but okay.
Still says strike on the board.
Still 1-2. And this kid's at his best. Left center field is his target.
Yeah, he seemed to go through a few stretches like he's going through right now last year, and then every time he came out of it, as he started driving that ball that way.
They crowd him in. Now it's 2-2. Braves doing an excellent job of making Santana work. 38 pitches, and he does not have a second inning out.
Terry Collins' club playing good baseball, winning 7 of their first 10, and they've gotten everybody's attention. When you, as a hitter, it's pretty common now, and one of the things that a lot of young hitters are doing, and that's not to take a stride, have a little wider stance so that you don't get out on your front foot too much, but that it can still happen. Once you get that foot down, to still let your upper body kind of take over and get too far out there, and that sometimes that's happening to Freeman. And he, as we've talked about, he loves to inside out the ball, but that doesn't mean you necessarily have to get out there on your front foot to do an inside out swing, because if you do get out too far on your front foot, your bat's going to drag a little bit. You're going to be tardy on some fastballs, which we saw earlier in this count.
So it'll be the 9th pitch for Freddie Freeman. Three balls, 2 strikes.
I don't know if that was a Tolley call there or if Santana did that on his own, but Josh Tolley likes to go upstairs for the strikeout with a high fastball. We saw that a couple of times last night when Dylan G was pitching.
Another foul ball for Freeman.
This is a good thing for Freddie. I mean, when you're scuffling a little bit and trying to get back on track, and your first at bat against a really good pitcher, you see all these pitches, you've seen everything he's got. It's going to help you later tonight, no matter what happens in this at bat.
Douglas started the second with a walk. Matt Diaz went back through the box with a single. Freeman now a 3-2 count. And a line drive fair down the left field line. Ugla will score. Diaz on his way to third will stop. Freddie Freeman with a terrific at bat, and the crowd on its feet applauding his effort. Wow.
Here's the pitch by pitch to him, and he fell behind early. Got a fastball right there that he was a little tardy on, but he just kept battling. And one of the things today in the Braves leadoff luncheon, when Greg Walker, the hitting coach, was interviewed, he was talking about his ball club and how he likes his hitters because they'll fight you. He said we're putting up some good at bats and extended at bats, and here's another great example of it.
Yeah, you can't battle any better than that right there. And he fought off a couple of tough pitches, and then finally got one that he could keep in play and sliced it right down the left field line. Beautiful.
Second RBI for Freeman, his first home hit. And the Braves extend their lead 2-0 for Tyler Pastornicki. Hit shortstop with a .136 at the plate for the year. Bunted back to the screen, strike one.
I don't know what that was. Diaz wasn't running, wasn't a squeeze play. And a little difficult to get that runner in from third when the first baseman's already cheated in if you're bunting that way.
That's past Davis, who is in at the first base bag, and that's going to plate two. Pastornicki will dive in with a double.
I think his manager likes that result a whole lot better. Swing it. Got a breaking ball that stayed up and kept it fair.
Looked like a break, maybe a changeup that just didn't quite finish, and it doesn't seem like he's got that feel that he wants on that changeup. And it's kind of surprised he didn't throw more to Freddie than he did, but that might be why he doesn't have the feel for it.
Randall Delgado pops one foul for a strike. Still nobody out in the inning. Four Braves batters have faced Santana. All four have reached. Three have scored in the inning.
That's a little improvement. Get Pastornicki over to third and pick up another knock with a runner in scoring position.
Delgado gets the bunt down. Davis throws it away. Pastornicki scores. Delgado to second. It's 5-0.
Delgado's still going to get credit for a sacrifice. Davis had time, but a horrible throw. Couple of errors behind Santana in 2 innings that have cost him runs.
One by Jason Bay on a dropped fly ball hit by the man in the batter's box, Michael Bourne.
Eight errors now committed by the Mets for the season.
Ball, one strike. Wow.
50 pitches in 2 innings. This is the kind of game where I would imagine the Mets are going to be awfully careful with Johan coming off of the shoulder surgery. These are the kind of games where you can get into trouble with laboring as much as he is.
Their bullpen is busy. And it's Miguel Batista up and throwing first. Ground ball to second. Runner to third. One out. Well, this inning, fellas, a textbook example of if you play the game right, the baseball offensive gods will reward you.
Just good to see. Everybody knows what their job is when they go up there. They're having intelligent at bats, thinking at bats about what they're trying to do and getting it done.
Here's Hayward. Jason flied to right. That allowed Bourne to take third in the first inning. Michael then scored on a sac fly from Chipper Jones. One inside.
Infield's in, or not all the way in on the grass for the guys up the middle, but I know if I'm Mike Davis, I'm not real comfortable right here playing in on the grass with Jason up there.
Delgado's got to look alive too at third base. Remember, Josh Tolley led the National League in passed balls last season. Anything in the dirt might get away, and you can steal a 6th run. Opposite field single for Hayward. Atlanta is opposite fielding Santana to death. 6-0. And that is all for Johan.
Well, I think they learned something after seeing him in New York. Remember, he hadn't pitched in well over a year, like almost 18 months between outings. He had got the better of it in New York. They do tonight. And another good at bat by Jason on what was not a real big swing. Just put the ball in play to get the run in.
Huge night for the Braves offense, and we're only in the second. It's 6-0 Braves.
Fielders, he's leading all right fielders in batting average. But here's another good example about how Jason is trying to use the whole field. He's not trying to pull a left-handed pitcher running a fastball away from him. He's hitting it where it's pitched, not taking a big swing. The infield drawn in, easy RBI, just ground ball through the hole.
Yeah, it's like Chip alluded to earlier with the baseball gods. When you try to do the right thing, you try to have a good approach, it seems like good things happen, and that certainly has been the case early here tonight for the Braves.
A 7-game hitting streak for Hayward. Now the Braves take a look at veteran right-hander Miguel Batista. 4 games, high ERA, and his job gobbled up some innings. And the amazing career of Johan Santana, tonight's start the shortest in his major league career.
No kidding. Well, part of it, he was pitching behind all night too. 7 of 11 first pitch balls.
Hayward got a huge jump and steals second standing up. And Chipper happy to concede a strike.
In addition to his good hitting, Jason's got 4 swipes now too.
Low to Chipper, 2 balls and a strike.
Braves should remember Batista on the night that Steven Strasburg was scratched at Nationals Park and suffered the elbow injury. They had tens of thousands of people flooding into Nationals Park to see Strasburg pitch. This guy wound up starting and beat the Braves.
Miss Iowa remembers him too.
What was that line?
He said, I don't know why everybody's so upset. It's not like I miss Iowa pitching tonight or something like that.
after Strasburg
Right.
got scratched.
Two balls, two strikes. And he gets Chipper swinging for the second out. Brian McCann's the 9th man to hit in the inning. Ball one. Ball two.
Maybe a green light here for McCann, but make sure it's a good pitch. We've got first base open. I don't really mind walking you if that's the case, but make sure you get exactly what you want.
It was low. First walk for Batista. And Dan Ugla will stand in the box for the second time of the inning. Georgia Power customers can get a free in-home energy audit performed by an energy expert from Georgia Power. Learn ways to save money and energy around your home. Schedule an in-home energy audit. Go to georgiapower.com. Inside corner strike call.
More activity in the Mets pen. Manny Acosta begins to loosen up.
Pitcher's spot due first for New York in the top of the third inning.
That was a good shot there in the dugout of Delgado. Did you do anything special on a long inning like this, even when you had a chance to run the bases?
You know, sometimes on a night like tonight where it's not so cold, probably not too much, but on a cold night, maybe go up in the tunnel, run up and down the ramp a little bit, keep your legs going, keep the blood going, and then just try to get out there quick and get a couple extra warm-up pitches if you can.
Bounced off the plate toward David Wright, and he'll step on the third base bag. And that retires the side. Huge inning for the Braves, and Freddie Freeman, I think, had the key at bat. An 11-pitch matchup with Johan Santana that turned into an opposite field double and an RBI. And the Braves broke the game open, scoring 5 times and lead 6-0. He and Josh Tolley talking things over. An inning and a third, 6 runs, only 4 of those runs earned in the shortest big league outing for Johan Santana ever. So big lead for Randall Delgado. He's got the pitcher Miguel Batista to start off the New York third. Good swing and a miss. 0-2. What do you hope to see from Delgado here in the third?
Shut him down. Go out there, be aggressive, work ahead in the count, and get your boys back in the dugout.
That's a good start. Second strikeout of the game.
Speaking of good pitching, and I guess it runs in the family, we heard a good story today. Phil Niekro's 10-year-old grandson, Chase Niekro, threw a perfect game in the Buford Little League. 8 strikeouts. Congratulations to Chase. I have a feeling that grandfather Phil is a little proud of that one.
You think?
It's not fair to break out the knuckleball with the 10-year-olds, is it?
I don't know.
Why not?
But congratulations, Chase. That's awesome. As Tejada bats. We understand Chase's follow-through looks an awful lot like that.
Buford Little League ought to be trying to find some plans for their own statue now for Chase.
Dribbler toward Chipper. Nice pick. Off balance throw. And that one gets away from Freddie Freeman. And Tejada will move to second base. E5.
Chipper looked a little quick on this release here. He certainly wasn't able to get his feet under him moving that way, but he had a little more time than he thought. And I think some of this, you got to figure that some of it's got to have to do with his knee, his left knee, not being able to, feeling really comfortable to plant and get his body turned to make that throw.
So the Braves have an error tonight. Here's Murphy, runner at second, 1 out. Murphy singled to right field back in the first inning for New York. Line drive center. Will it hang for Michael? It will. He'll throw back to second, but back safely is Tejada.
Great jump. From our vantage point, when you see a line drive hit like that to center, your eye immediately goes to the center fielder, and Bourne almost looked like was moving before the ball left the plate.
Two outs for David Wright. Delgado struck him out in the first inning. Ball 1 outside to Wright. Mentioned last night, Wright closing in on the all-time Mets RBI lead. He's 3 behind Darryl Strawberry. David has 730 career RBIs. And 5 so far this year. Fouled off Brian McCann.
I remember when, sorry, Chip. I remember when David Wright first came up. Everybody was talking about what a good-looking player he was when he came up from Norfolk. But he had a lot of bat waggle and actually kind of wrapped his bat a little Gary Sheffield-like. But that's changed. He's had to make some adjustments that he couldn't get away with that at this level. And good for him. It didn't take him long to figure it out.
No, it didn't take him. That's what makes him a good player. He didn't take him long, and he continues to work on that stuff.
He might be ready for a monster year with the new dimensions at Citi Field. Finally healthy. Tommy, you mentioned a fractured back for David Wright last year. Cost him about 60 games. And another reason for Mets fans to come to the ballpark to watch David Wright play every day. Bouncing ball. That is fair. Delgado to the bag. And that retires the side. Randall pitches around to Chipper Jones' error at third. Keeps momentum firmly in the Braves dugout. It's 6-0 Atlanta. Nothing, Braves in front. Atlanta's chased Johan Santana. Here in the third inning, Diaz, Freeman, and Pasternicki are coming up against right-hander Miguel Batista. Ouch. Knocks the mask off Tolley. Strike one.
And is that hard on the neck?
Nowhere near 2 balls and a strike.
We showed a graphic last night telling folks about how good their bullpen was in the first three games against Atlanta and how they have scuffled since then. And Batista is one of those guys that scuffled. This is already his 5th game. Wow. Didn't give up any of the runs that were charged in the second inning. None of them were charged to him, but 3 runs in 2 2/3 innings and 5 walks.
To short. Tejada. It's Diaz. 1 out. Again, we join Beth Keener.
I'm just following you guys on Twitter, and Taylor Camp made a pretty funny observation. He said, notice Chipper and Freddie Freeman have their own handshake this year. Hashtag pretty sick.
Yeah, check it out. It's like Freddie's got to warm up like a locomotive. I just like Chipper's face. He was very amused.
These young whippersnappers, they'll keep you young. Freddie, a great at bat, changed the tempo of the game back in the second. Saw 11 pitches from Santana. Doubled to left, scored the second run of the game for Atlanta, and that led to a gigantic 5-run frame for the Braves. Remember, Freddie didn't play yesterday. He was in the midst of an 0-for-12 slide. One and two. Chased a high fastball, and 2 are out. Fans, the Braves clubhouse store at CNN Center wants to help outfit you with the new Ivory alternate home jersey or the Ivory logo tee. Ask about the free gift with purchase autograph baseball program while supplies last. Visit the Braves clubhouse store at CNN Center today, or call 404-523-5854 for more information. Tight to Pasternicki. He doubled past Ike Davis down the right field line. Murphy in between hops makes the play, and Batista works a scoreless bottom of the third. 6-0 Rays in front of the Mets. Off the field, 6-0. They lead game 2 of the series with the Mets. Earlier today, we had the annual Braves leadoff luncheon here at the ballpark. Brian McCann picked up his Silver Slugger Award. Craig Kimbrell, his Rookie of the Year hardware. And those two young men are the subjects of our Georgia lottery hitting the jackpot.
Already 5 of those Silver Slugger Awards for Brian McCann. Very impressive. And 46 saves last year for Kimbrell.
Mike Davis starts inning number 4 against Delgado. We had a packed house at the 755 Club today. Joe,
good turnout.
Terrific job as the MC.
Well, when the word gets out, you know, that who's running the show, tickets go fast.
I mean, it's like advanced billing for a great pitching matchup.
Pretty much.
I mean, people show up. If there's Joe, people will come.
All the proceeds benefit the Braves Foundation that helps out in so many different areas in the city of Atlanta, different charities.
Joe, as everybody in Braves country knows, has a very dry, quick sense of humor. And that young man, well, maybe not so young, Man was in focus as Davis shoots a sinking line drive at Michael Bourne for out number 1. What'd you say about Chipper when he got introduced?
Well, first of all, you only go to the guys that you know can take it, right?
That's true. Sure.
So when I introduced Chipper, I just said, here's a guy who's suddenly qualified for the early bird special and a free dessert.
It brought the house down. As Bay looks outside at ball 1. Jason popped out to Jason Hayward.
No, he's great. He has a good time with it. I was going to say about those 2 award winners too, though, that the thing that just continues to impress me about Brian McCann is his consistency. And I'm not taking anything away from Craig Kimbrell for what he did last year, because it was brilliant. It was unbelievably brilliant. You do that one year, that's something. You do it on a consistent basis like Brian's been doing it now since he got called up. That is just off the charts.
And at the toughest position defensively on the field.
Physically, you bet.
Mile high pop fly. Who wants this? Dan Uggla doesn't see it. Michael Bourne staggers. He doesn't see it. And Bay's in safely at second. There were 3 guys looking for the baseball and nobody could pick it up.
That's what we talked about last night. See, that's going to go down as a base hit.
Yeah, I agree with you. Shouldn't go against the pitcher. I think the only guy that saw it was Jason. He just couldn't get there in time. But everybody has a built-in timer when they know the ball will probably just about be down on the ground, and everybody starts ducking at that point.
So Bay gets a double. And Duda's in the batter's box. He had a screaming line drive that Hayward tracked down in right center field back in the 2nd inning. Dan at second. Runner to third, 2 outs. Much easier, I'm sure, to pitch with a 6-run lead than a 1-run lead for Delgado, but guys very calmly, very coolly, and very stealthily through 3 2/3 innings tonight.
Well, sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. I mean, the big thing you got to be careful of is losing your edge. Your mindset becomes, well, I don't want to walk anybody. I can put the ball in play, but you still have to have the mindset of throwing quality pitches.
Foul ball to Tolley, strike 1 to the Mets catcher. He did walk. The lone walk of the night for Delgado back in second. Braves swing way around toward left in the outfield for Tolley. Two and 1.
Randall hasn't had that perfect inning yet, thanks to that lost pop-up in the twilight. Pitch count not all that bad. I'd like to get through this inning without any more trouble. Sherwin Williams painting the corner for this strike right at the bottom of the zone.
back up the middle. And Tolley has a 2-out RBI single. And that makes it a 6-1 Atlanta game.
There you go, Mr. Glavin. You want that to be an unearned run.
Absolutely, I do. But that's for another day.
Second RBI for Tolley. And here's Neuenhuis. He had a line drive right at Freddie Freeman. That ended the second inning for the Mets. They have but 3 hits so far. And now 4. Tolley around second. He'll take third. Pitcher's spot due for New York. Almost certainly Terry Collins will take Batista down. He will. It's Mike Baxter.
This is nothing new for the Mets. They're hitting .295 this year with 2 outs, 6th highest in the National League. So this is an area that they've been pretty good at, extending some innings and getting some pitch counts up.
Baxter with a pinch hit single makes it 6-2. And here we go with Randall. 2-out trouble. And it seems like in his few major league starts, it's been 1 bad inning.
It does seem that way, Chip, for Randall Delgado, but it also seems like it's this way against the Mets so far for the Braves this year, that they capitalize on even the smallest of breaks. And tonight it's a lost pop-up in the twilight in New York. It was Jonathan Neese's little 2-out flare double that hit on the chalk and led to a couple of runs against Mike Minor. They are a pesky group and tough to put away in any inning.
And at times finishing innings has been tough for the Braves. 48 runs allowed. 29 have come with 2 outs.
That's the kind of thing that, you know, you wonder if at some point when it starts, is it because the guys have 2 outs and they relax a little bit, they think the inning's over, so they're not bearing down the way they should be, and then once it starts to steamroll, you know, I wonder if in the back of their minds the guys are all saying, hey man, we're really having a hard time with putting innings away and finishing innings. Let's not let that happen anymore. And then you start getting defensive the other way, trying to make it not happen rather than just continue to focus on making good pitches, even though you're in that area where you've struggled as a staff.
So 2 on, 2 out, 2 in for New York. In the top of the order, Tejada swings at the first pitch. Freeman has room near the rail. He's got it. And that retires the side. Mets get 2 runs on 4 hits. One of them lost in the twilight. brought to you in part by Academy Sports and Outdoors, by AT&T, by Delta Airlines, and by Ford. Joe, Tom, Chip with you at Turner Field. Left Keener, Tom Hart along as well. 6-2. Braves in front, trying to even up this series. The Braves trying to win for the first time this year against the Mets. They've chased Johan Santana. His shortest big league start, only an inning and a third. Young Randall Delgado in good shape, leading by 4 runs, searching for his second win of the season. As the Mets back in their bullpen with right-hander Ramon Ramirez.
Ramirez in his 5th game and an ERA over 6. Came over from the Giants in the Angel Pagan deal.
High fly ball down the left field line. Delgado. Bay in the corner is there. And there's out number 1.
Walks, only 1 strikeout for him in 4 1/3 innings. That's very unusual that he hasn't struck out more. Been a lot of games last year for San Francisco.
66 of them to be exact. And he faces Michael Bourne. Get a close look at the right uniform sleeve of the Mets. See a ceremonial patch that they're wearing, maybe a memorial patch. On the left side, it's the 50th anniversary for the New York club. On the right sleeve, they honor their great catcher Gary Carter, the kid, passed away this year before the season started, I guess. Balls and a strike.
Know this, Ramirez is working quickly.
And a chance for Bay in left. Two outs. Braves are excited to announce demand-based pricing for all outfield tickets. With this new pricing, a discount is built into the ticket price. As the game date approaches, prices will fluctuate based on demand, so fans can save on popular games when they plan ahead and buy early. For more information, visit Braves.com/pricing. Ball 1 to Jason. RBI single in the second, extending Jason's hitting streak to 7 games.
Give a lot of credit to Greg Walker and Scott Fletcher for helping Jason make some adjustments this year that have really paid off for him. They put in a lot of hard work in spring training.
Two and two. Jason had an 8-game hitting streak last season. That was also in April, April 22nd to April 30th. His career long hitting streak is 10 games back in September of 2010. And he chased the ball in the dirt. Tolle will scoop it up and throw to first to retire the side. On we go to the 5th. Braves 6, Mets 2. Turner Field, where the Braves are in front by a 6-2 score. Visit MLB.com/fan guide for your chance to win a VIP experience for 2 this year at an MLB World Series game. Presented by Scott's, the official lawn care company of Major League Baseball. Murphy, Wright, and Davis coming up against Randall Delgado. Murphy 1 for 2. Look out. That makes its way into the Mets dugout. Up the middle. Pasternicki guns out Daniel Murphy. 1 away for David Wright, who's playing hurt tonight. Right, Tom?
That's right, Chip, and he has been playing hurt. In fact, when he broke his pinky last week, everyone, including his manager, Terry Collins, thought he would go on the DL. Instead, he said, I can work through this. How? This is straight old school, or kindergarten if you want. This is Play-Doh that he's been using at home and on the bench to improve the dexterity of the broken pinky on his right hand. You see you checking it out there, working with that nuclear orange glow Play-Doh. He's also batting with a special wedge of tape that is underneath his batting glove and on that pinky that allows him to grip the bat with maybe a 1/4 inch. Think about you golfers out there and you get those extra grips. Makes it a little bit better on your driver, more easier to handle, I should say. Well, that's the secret with him and his pinky. Allows him to keep the pinky on the bat with a little bit of padding in between.
Good stuff, Tom. You could see some swelling still in that finger too when he was squeezing the Play-Doh.
Man, I'm sure every time he hits one off the end of the bat, it probably reminds him.
If it was his left pinky, Joe, would he be able to play in your estimation?
It would.
And I guess top hand versus bottom hand.
Yeah, I think it would be more painful. But I mean, think about it. It's his throwing hand, so he's going to feel it every time he makes a throw. If you think about holding the baseball and how the little fingers rest on the bottom of the baseball.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Whoa! Delgado somehow got out of the way. The comebackers are even tonight, aren't they?
Well, that's 2. I don't know how they get out of the way, but I'm glad they did.
Wow, that one was hooking too.
Oof.
Scary.
Brian McCann was halfway to the mound to make sure Randall was able to collect himself. He nodded he's good to go. And he goes back to work with Ike Davis. 1 ball, no strikes. Now 3 straight off target.
Back-to-back changeups too that he didn't finish real well on his mechanics. Kind of cut it short.
I think that's a product sometimes of what we talked about earlier in the game, where he gets runners on base where he wants to get in a hurry. Well, when you get in a hurry, you don't give yourself time to finish that pitch.
He's had a good fastball all night tonight.
And good life on it. I still contend that Ike Davis, until he proves one of the guys wrong, his swing's so long right now, I don't think he can catch up to a good fastball.
And Delgado just missed the outside corner. Low, I guess. And two are on with one out.
Sherwin Williams painting the corners. Brian McCann did a great job of trying to frame that to the corner, but a little too far off the plate. Christian Martinez begins to loosen up again in the Braves pen.
Roger McDowell will give Christian a few extra tosses in the pen with a meeting. Delgado's got to get through 5 to qualify for the win, and he leads 6-2.
If I'm the Mets, after getting those 2 runs last inning, and I'm not going to call them gift runs because they got 4 hits in the inning, but obviously the third out would have already occurred if the ball hadn't been lost in the twilight. But I'm certainly back in this ball game, pecking away at what was a 6-run deficit. Now I'm in striking distance and a chance to add some here.
Bay has doubled and has popped out. As we showed you earlier, they also hit a 9th inning home run in the ballpark last night.
They've hit 7 homers in their last 4 games.
And so to your point about Delgado's keys to the game, limit your walks, limit your hits, so that the big boppers, if they hit them, hit solos.
And once more, no clean innings.
Yeah, I think that was the point I was just getting ready to make, is like you said before the game, the clean inning being an issue. If you're the Mets right now, you're only in the 5th inning. That's exactly what you're thinking. You're thinking, hey, this guy hasn't had a clean inning with us all night long. We're going to continue to get chances here. We got to just keep pecking away.
Yeah, they've already left 5 men on base, not counting the 2 out there now.
Fly foul. And still a 1-2 count. Last 2 innings, much heavier workload for Delgado. Bay is down on strikes. Big pitch. 2 out.
There's that changeup. Finished that one nicely. Started off the outside corner, brought it back a little bit, and I think Jason Bay missed that one on both speed and location.
Another big thumper coming up for New York. That's Lucas Duda. He's 0 for 2.
Hit 2 of his 3 homers in that one game against Atlanta in New York. But you see his average, and he's had a hard time of it since then. He's 7 for his last 39.
And 13 strikeouts in those 39 at bats. Ball, 1 strike. 2 on, 2 out for Duda. Another changeup. Bay and Duda go down swinging, and Delgado's through 5 with the lead, and that lead is 6-2 Braves. In the bottom of the 5th inning, leading the Mets by a 6-2 score. Chipper Jones was one of the featured speakers at the Braves leadoff luncheon today, and we were talking about Chipper's retirement plans.
I love playing the game of baseball. That's all I've ever done is play the game of baseball. But after 23 years, it's time to do something else. And I got 4 boys at home whom I love to death. I've never gone on a spring break trip. I've never gone on a summer vacation with them, and I'm ready to do that. And the body has told me, don't even think about playing past this year. So I'm going to listen to it.
And Chipper to work with Ramon Ramirez, and pitch fouled straight back. Steve, rank 1.
Yeah, I think he's had enough drilling on his knees. Doesn't want to have to do that anymore.
Yeah, a couple of days ago, Chipper said, guys, just give me the epidural. I've had so many knee operations the last couple of years, I could probably do the surgery myself.
I'm sure he could drain his knee himself, give himself a cortisone shot, all that stuff. And that's when you know what, I've had enough of this. I don't need to do this anymore.
Tom, with your shoulder that you had to have fixed after you finished playing, how much of that was affecting your ability to go out there at the end? I mean, was it a real chore?
It was a lot. I mean, I think you try one more time to see if there's anything left in there, but once you realize there's not, then it's time to go. And I think in large part that's one of the things that's made it that much easier for me is knowing that, even if I wanted to go back out there, I know there's nothing left. There's no way I could.
Fly ball foul, still a full count.
So if you had a certain number of miles in your arm and your shoulder, you used up every mile.
I think I used every one of them, yeah. And I think the same is going to be true for Chipper. I think he's gotten virtually every mile out of his knees that he's going to get. And, you push it as far as you can and then try to go a little bit more. And sooner or later your body wins out and tells you, you know what, you just can't do this anymore.
It's really pretty remarkable he's even playing now, this soon after his latest knee surgery, as he takes a leadoff walk. Good start to the Braves' 5th. Could use a little more insurance. It's a 6-2 game. Tom Hart.
What's funny about Chipper and this series, guys, is he's already drawn the ire of Mets fans, and he's hundreds of miles away from Queens. How did it happen? The mere suggestion from a Mets official that they will honor Chipper in some way in the Braves' final trip to New York later this season. Now, should point out that New York fans went through a similar situation with Stan Musial. They're the ones who gave him the nickname the Man, as in, here comes that man again. He homered On Stan Musial Day in 1962 for the Cardinals against the New York Mets, when they chose to honor that Hall of Famer. Braves' last trip to New York this season begins on September 28th. The Mets have said they will honor him in some way, although due to the fan reaction, they probably won't do it on the field.
I'm guessing they'll offer him a first-class plane ticket out of town. That would be.
Pack his bats for him and tell him, get out of here. Come back.
You know, I've never heard Chipper utter one bad word about Mets fans and the way he's received up there and booed so lustily. In fact, he takes it as a compliment that, you know, I'd boo me too. I've done some damage against these guys, but I've never heard him say anything negative about Mets fans.
Line down the right field line by McCann. That's headed for the corner. It's off the base of the wall. A momentary hesitation, but Bryan slides in with a double. Chipper's at third, and there's nobody out.
Chipper's an outstanding base runner, has been his whole career. He reads pitches, or he reads line drives and fly balls real well. When Bryan hit that, it was pretty obvious that Lucas Duda wasn't going to get to it, but Chipper gingerly went from first to third, and that was about all he could muster.
He is wearing, I guess, a neoprene sleeve type knee support under his Braves uniform. You can see the outline of it there. Now the infield in for Dan Uggla. Placed halfway in. And he pops the next pitch up. Murphy at second. One out.
This is one way to beat the shift too. We're watching Chipper run the bases, but what a swing Bryan put on this pitch. You want to beat the shift, just hit it over them. He thought about bunting, tried to bunt earlier in the count to push one to the left side, and almost a couple of pitches later almost hit one in the seats.
6-2 game. Two big runs out there for Atlanta in the middle innings.
Manny Acosta up again for the Mets.
Braves are 3 for 8 tonight with runners in scoring position. Fly ball right. That'll get a run home. Duda the catch. Chipper tags and scores. Brian McCann to third. There's an add-on run. Good at bat for Diaz.
Good night for Matty. In addition to Freeman's RBI double back in the 5-run second, it was Diaz's line drive right back at the noggin of Johan Santana that helped spark that inning too. Chipper hustling home on that sac fly, but broke it down pretty quickly.
Big swing for Freeman. He's down a strike. Up the middle, another hit for Freddie. Well, that's a great sign, isn't it? Rips one down the left field line and then a bullet back through the box. It's 8-2.
Freddie knows he can hit, and when you go through a little spell like he went through that included some strikeouts, you keep the faith. You know it's going to come back, but there's that little guy that's in your head going, "You're never going to get another hit, are you?" And you keep fighting him and telling him to go away, and until you get that next hit, like Freddie did on the double, then he vanishes, and you remember, "Oh yeah, I know how to do this."
Yeah, it's like you mentioned earlier in the game, Chip, when he went through some of those last year. It was the driving the ball left center field. Well, he didn't exactly drive that double down the left field line, but it was a great approach. And then that swing right there was beautiful.
And 2 big pick-me-up runs for the Braves in this inning. Just when the Mets thought they were going to creep back closer, they leave 2 more runners stranded, and the Braves add 2 more to their total and lead 8-2 in the 5th. Pasternicky pops one into the seats. 2 balls and a strike to him.
Medlin is loosening up in the Atlanta pen, and it's like Francisco, if he gets a chance, might hit for Delgado.
And Pasternicky swings through it. And he's retired in the Atlanta 5th. Braves pick up 2 more runs, lead the ball game 8-2 after 5.
Then look at this shot right back at Johan Santana. An 11 pitch at bat for Freddie Freeman. It was a double. Pasternicky goes the other way to bring Freddie in. This butt, a little bit of a wild throw. A lot of a wild throw for Mike Davis, plated a run. And Jason Hayward drives in another run, drives in Delgado. 5-run inning for the Braves.
And the kid's back out there now with a 6-run lead with Tolley, Neuenhuis, and the pitcher's spot due. We got to get this guy out. Tolley on base 2 more times in this game.
Here it comes, right here.
I don't have to start calling him Redmond.
Oh, please don't bring that name up.
Still nightmares, huh? Way upstairs, 2 balls, 2 strikes. mentioned earlier that Tolley a very high on base percentage, only one strikeout all year long. Laser Baker tells us that Tolley has reached base in every game he's played this season for the Mets. Two and two. Fastball right down Broadway.
Ooh, he found a little giddy up on that one, Mr. Glavine. 94.
See, that's the key. You can fool him by throwing it right down the middle. He doesn't know what to do with that pitch.
Randall struck out the last three Mets hitters, two with changeups, that one with a fastball. Now NYN bats. He's 1 for 2.
Randall got called up last year for a spot start against Texas on June 17th. He went 4 innings, got roughed up a little. Another spot start in August against the Giants.
Looping line drive into left by NYN. A 1-out single.
And he pitched real well against San Francisco. 6 innings of 1 hit, 1 run ball, and he got no decision. So at 4 innings, then 6 innings, and then when he got called up in September and made 5 starts through the month with the Braves, he went 5 innings, all 5 of those starts. So tonight, a chance to stretch it out a little bit, really because he got out of the last inning, the 5th inning, after 2 got on. But good to see him still in there.
That was his 100th pitch. Braves club has 3 straight starts of 7 innings plus, or 7 innings or more, by their starting pitchers. Beachy Minor and Tommy Hanson did that. Don't know if Randall will get through 7 tonight. Braves would love to see him get through 6 tonight with a 6-run lead. No swing for Cedeno. 2 balls and a strike.
The most pitches he threw in a start last year was 101, and only went 5 innings that night. And in his 5 innings at Houston, he threw 89.
That was pitch number 103, so a new career high for him.
Well, that's good. I mean, you got to get him to the point where in his mind he knows that he can get beyond that pitch count. He knows he can get beyond that 5th inning. I mean, that plays on your mind sometimes when you keep getting stuck in that 1 inning.
Three and two. Now some pondering, and the decision's made. Freddie Gonzalez is going to come out and get Randall Delgado, it would appear. Indeed, that'll be the case. Double switch. Jack Wilson will come in to play shortstop. Randall Delgado will get a big cheer as he leaves this game ahead 8-2. and by Ram Trucks. 8-2, the Braves in front in the top of the 6th inning. Randall Delgado, fellas, a chance to win this ball game, but it wasn't exactly an easy night for him, was it?
No, like Joe, the keys to the game Joe talked about early on about having clean innings. He didn't have too many of those tonight, but, you know, to his credit, he pitched through them. He made some big pitches when he had to, held the Mets at bay long enough to let the Braves go to work. And, you know, like I said earlier, 6-0 lead, sometimes those games are a little bit difficult to pitch in because you lose your edge and you're not quite as aggressive as you normally are. But all in all, nice job and something to build on.
Chris Medlin now on in relief. He answers the AT&T call to the bullpen. 2 on, 1 out, 6-run Braves lead, and Medlin will now face the top of the New York order. On the double switch, Jack Wilson into play short, and he'll bat 9th.
Chris Medlin always on the attack, which is one of the, when you look at his stats so far this year, a little surprising. He doesn't have a strikeout yet, but he's around the plate and he makes the hitters swing the bat, put it in play. There's a reason for that. And I know Delgado walked 3 tonight, Tommy, but when I watch him pitch, I always feel like he's being aggressive. I always feel like he's trying to attack the zone. He may not have the command, but he appears that way.
Yeah, he absolutely is, and I think over time he's going to learn to make those out pitches more consistently and more frequently and get his pitch count down.
2-2. Deep short. Wilson unloads quickly, and they get the force play at second. Cedeno is the second out. Neuenhuis to third. Tejada, the runner at first. Game Connect has Braves Country talking, so log on now to foxsportssouth.com and experience it for yourself. Follow all the action with live stats and social media. Log on now to foxsportssouth.com's Game Connect. Here's Murphy. That's foul past third, nearly picked off Neuenhuis. Chipper tried to knock it down and couldn't. It skipped out of his glove and a run is in. Infield hit, RBI for Murphy. And it's 8-3.
This guy is a tough out. He hits the ball to all parts of the field. You saw him just miss slicing one down the third baseline. And now this one took off like a jet. I like Murphy's swing a lot. I think he's going to hit for a high average again.
I think he was 6th in the league last year when he got hurt. Certainly in the top 10 for the Mets. Jose Costanza that ended his season on a slide at second base up at, I believe, up at Citi Field. He's come back with a vengeance, and he keeps on hitting the Braves and cuts the lead to 8-3 now. Oh, 2 to David Wright.
93 from Medlin.
After that fastball right there, see if we can throw a slider on that outside corner and finish it off the plate. Maybe get David to chase it. Tried to fool him with a fastball, and he did, but didn't get the call.
Sherwin-Williams just missed painting the corner. Had a little backup on it too.
Didn't get the inside corner. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And that one tailed off the inside.
Breaking ball gets David Wright. First strikeout for Medlin, and the Braves go to work in the 6th. Have been booming tonight. 8 runs on 6 Braves hits. Let's check in again with Beth.
Okay, Peter Moylan's on Twitter, and he tweeted, best day of catch since surgery. Should throw first bullpen within 2 weeks. Yeah, buddy.
That's great news. Good to hear from Peter. Thank you, Beth. Always an exciting time after a surgery like he's had, and a tough time like he's had for the last 2 years, to get some encouraging work in.
Yeah, I know that's something he'll be excited about. I talked to him about, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, I think, and said it's been a rough go so far, so that's good news for him.
I just don't know what the Twitterverse will do without Peter Moylan once he's back and active on the roster. I don't know if it's going to survive, to be quite honest with you.
Maybe he'll figure out a way to tweet between pitches, or maybe voice activated tweets while he's on the mound.
If anybody could do that, it would be Peter Moylan. There's Manny Acosta, former Brave. Ronnie Cedeno stays in the game to play shortstop, and the Braves shortstop, Jack Wilson, goes to work. 1 ball, no strikes to Jack. He owes Jason Bass some payback. And there's his first base hit. Bring that one back, Jason. Leadoff single. And a root start for Manny Acosta. Trivia time. Our AT&T U-verse trivia question. Chipper Jones won his only Silver Slugger awards in 1999 and 2000. Who won in 2001 to end his streak? Michael Bourne, a ground ball to second. Cedeno, no chance to get Michael Bourne. Forced play, 1 out.
Was Vinny Castilla still playing then? I mean, was he playing then? 2001, could he be the guy?
He could be. Cabrera.
Yeah.
We just saw Ramos Ramirez here with the Milwaukee Brewers. Ramirez, I think at that point, was with the Cubs. If not, certainly the Pirates.
Scott Rowland.
One ball, no strikes to Jason. He's had another good night at the plate. He advanced Michael Bourne in the first inning. That led to the game's first run. Jason added an RBI single in the second inning, extending his batting streak to 7 straight games with a hit. Joe, you've said this a lot about Jason Hayward in the first weeks of the year. He's taking so many pitches and taking so many pitches well.
Just the way he's taking them. I don't think that's taken away from his aggressiveness or the way he's going about his approach up there. He seems to be seeing the ball better.
Got a green light. Skies 1 to left.
And it seemed like last year, every time he got behind in the count, it was, I don't want to say an automatic out, but he had too many holes, too many places for pitchers to go to get him out when he was behind in the count, because he wasn't taking anything off his swing and because he was trying to pull everything, and that really played into the pitcher's hands. He's not doing that now, even when he falls behind.
Here's Chipper, an RBI, a walk, and a run scored. Chipper now with 155 RBIs against the Mets in his career. Only Willie Stargell and Mike Schmidt have more. Bourne's running. And no chance for Tolley. Michael Bourne with his 5th steal.
He didn't have any stolen bases until he got to Houston, but he is picking up the pace. Great crossover step and excellent, just great explosion out of the blocks. I've got an idea for the Mets. Even if it's not an on-the-field presentation, like an autographed Mr. Met head.
For Chipper?
Yeah, that he can put on his mantle.
That's what the baseball looks like to him when he hits up there, so you might as well.
Hang it from the ceiling.
High fly, shallow left. Well, we'll run that by Chipper after the game and see what he thinks, and hopefully report back to you in the series wrap up tomorrow. It's 8-3 Atlanta heading to the 7th. Braves trying to win their 4th straight game against a left-handed opposing starter. They chased Johan Santana tonight after just an inning and 1/3, the shortest outing for Santana in his big league career. Mets defense didn't help him either. But Braves don't care about that. They enjoy an 8-3 lead heading to the 7th. Randall Delgado started for the Braves, went 5 1/3, allowing 3 runs. It's Medlin now on in relief with the middle of the Mets order coming up.
Braves fans could enjoy a doubleheader tomorrow, you know. Got the business fan special at noon. Getaway day before heading out west. And then Gwinnett's got a game tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, and Tim Hudson's going to pitch.
Tim's just happy to not have to face any A-ball hitters. You've been there, right?
I know how he feels. Those boys do not see a pitch that they don't like.
That just missed the inside corner. 2-2. It's Tim's 3rd rehab start, I believe. He went 60 pitches his last time. I think that's right. Trying to stretch it out another inning or so. Maybe 2. So he's inching closer and closer to return. Talked to him yesterday. He said he feels great. Mike Davis will have a seat. 2nd strikeout in a row for Medlin. Davis shaking his head as the Braves hopefully on their way to a series evening win. Here's our Jamison in upcoming schedule.
Yeah, the look ahead tomorrow, that noon start. R.A. Dickey, the knuckleballer, already off to a 2-0 start, while Jair Jurgens is looking for his first win. Good matchup. And if things stay the way they are right now, it'll be the old rubber game of the 3-game series.
2-0 to Bay.
Where did that term originate?
Did we discern term? It was a bridge term? Bridge card.
Okay.
My grandfather, as you know, used to have a bit of a flair for the dramatic. It was the 3rd final and rubber game.
Just want to emphasize that point, right?
Yes. Medlin, a comebacker. Pays the 2nd out. Fans mark your calendars for the Braves Game on the Green Outdoor Festival Saturday, April 21st at 6 o'clock on the Duluth Town Green. Come watch the Braves game on a huge outdoor movie screen. There'll be a live concert, inflatables for the kids, and a whole lot more. For more information, visit braves.com/gameonthegreen. That was a wildly popular event last year.
That's Thursday night.
21st.
Saturday night?
It's Saturday. Yeah, it's Saturday the 21st.
Saturday the 21st. That'll be Tommy Hanson against Joe Saunders. Good pitching matchup there.
Balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, Chris, both sides of the plate. Good movement with his 2-seamer. Great changeup that he threw David Wright for a strikeout to end the 6th.
Tried the changeup and runs the count full to Lucas Duda. Wilson at short. Inning over, and that is the first 1-2-3 inning the Braves pitching staff has turned in tonight's ball game. Atlanta 8, New York 3. Brian McCann coming up as we head to the 7th inning stretch. To in part by Jameson Inn, by AT&T Uverse, and by Georgia Power. Braves country enjoying this game against the Mets. 8-3 is your score, heading to the bottom of the 7th inning. Joe Simpson, Tom Glavine, Tom Hart, Beth Keener, Chip Carey back at the ballpark. Brian McCann ready to go with a double and a run scored tonight. Called strike. Ryan tried to spoil the shift. That ball was in the right-hand batter's box, and he fought it off, fouled it away with David Wright playing way up the middle as the Mets third baseman. Changeup got McCann. One out. Sundays on Fox Sports South. Join Tom Brokaw for Boys in the Hall, the personal stories of some of baseball's greatest legends. This week it's Buck O'Neil. Boys in the Hall, Sundays presented by Subway Restaurants, where winners eat.
Buck O'Neil has a connection to the guy who's going to throw out the first pitch for tomorrow's game. Bo Jackson will be here throughout the first pitch. He's raising money with a bike ride across Alabama. Raise money for the folks who suffered so tremendously in the tornado in Alabama.
Belted down the left field line by Ugla, but it's foul.
There'll be some other celebrities that join him on that bike ride. Lance Armstrong. Gee, I wonder who will win that race. Ken Griffey Jr., Desmond Howard, D'Amico Ryan, Scottie Pippen, Peekaboo Street, some other people. It's a great cause, but I just remember the story John Sherholtz would tell about standing in the tunnel between the dugout and the clubhouse in Kansas City. It's a long tunnel. And he was talking to Buck O'Neil. Paraphrasing here, of course, but there was a cracking going on somewhere outside down by the dugout, and Buck O'Neil stopped the conversation and said, "Let's go. Bo's hitting." And he could just tell that distinctive noise off Bo's bat in the cage It was pretty special, and they wanted to go watch.
Close play at first. Douglas out by a stride. Cedeno gets him for out number 2.
Did you ever see Bo play, Tom?
I played against him in Double-A when he first signed with Kansas City. I was in Greenville. He played in Memphis, and I'll tell you what, it was amazing. I remember watching him warming up in the outfield before his first game. I mean, he was throwing balls from the right field line to the left field line like it was nobody's business, and he was awful at the plate that first week.
Diaz, another hit. Matty hitting lefties, hitting righties tonight. He's got 2 hits tonight.
So he didn't look too good that first series that we saw him, and I think we saw him about 10 days later, and it was pretty evident that he was something special because he made some pretty quick adjustments.
He was just phenomenal. Such a phenomenal athlete, but he could do anything. He's so fast. For a right-handed batter out of the box, as fast as anybody I can remember.
So hopefully we'll have a chance to talk to Bo Jackson here tomorrow afternoon. Series wrap up between the Braves and the Mets. Ball to Freddie Freeman.
I was talking about that before the game with Jim Lovell, the assistant trainer for the Braves, who is a big Auburn fan and grad, and Tim Hudson was talking about how, oh no, I'm not going to be here. I got to go to Gwinnett and get ready to pitch. So he was sorry he was going to miss Bo.
You could come down for pregame and make it to Gwinnett in time.
I would think so. There's Lovey. Shout out a War Eagle at him just anytime you want.
Two balls and a strike.
It's our Academy Sports and Outdoor leaderboard, and tonight it has to do with double plays hit into. The Braves have only grounded into 2 this year. Fewest in the major leagues, as you see.
Fly ball left. Bays under it. And that retires the side. We move along to the 8th. 8-3 Braves. By Toyota and by Academy Sports and Outdoors. 7 complete, 8-3 Atlanta. Chris Medlin back for more. He'll try to work his second full inning of relief tonight. He's got a couple of strikeouts, and he pumps over strike 1 to catcher Josh Thole. A walk, an RBI single, and then a strikeout for Thole tonight. 0-2. Washington won again tonight, fellas. Beat Houston 1-0 behind Gio Gonzalez.
Another shutout for them, adding to their major league leading ERA, or I should say reducing it.
With the win tonight, the Nationals go to 9-3, 5-1 at Nationals Park. Ooh, wow. McCann held it there, didn't get the call.
Sherwin-Williams looked like he painted the corner right at McCann's glove, but just a little off. It's called by Paul Schreiber. He's done a good job tonight.
Colorado is at home tonight. Jamie Moyer leads San Diego 2-0. That's out of play again. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And the rest of the National League East. Ozzie Guillen back from his team-imposed 5-game suspension. They're hosting the Cubs tonight. That was Dempster and Josh Johnson starting. And the Phillies will be in San Francisco in about a half an hour. Joe Blanton versus Bumgarner.
Tim Lincecum gave up 4 more runs in the first inning last night to the Phillies, but a lot of that caused in part by a misplay in center field by former Met Angel Pagan. I'm not sure the Phillies would have scored if he had just caught a routine fly ball, but he backed off of it, fearing a collision with Melky Cabrera.
Tommy, have you seen any of Lincecum's starts this year?
I have not. It's way past my bedtime when their games start. I'm sure he'll figure something out.
3-2. Out away by Tolley. He's battling Medlin. This will be a 12-pitch at bat. Tell him what you're throwing, Chris.
Like Tom said about him earlier, just throw it down the middle.
Back in the old days, this is where a pitcher would say, all right, you want to get on that bad? Here you go. You get one right in the ribs.
Adam on stride. That's a pop up to the shortstop. 1 out. Trivia time. We've been thinking about this one for a while. It's a tough question. Chipper Jones, as you know, won a couple of Silver Sluggers in '99 and 2000. Who won in 2001 to keep Chipper from winning 3 in a row?
It's a wild guess. I'm going to go Scott Rowland.
I'm going to go Cabrera.
I was with the Cubs back then, and there was a wild card name that played third base for the Cardinals. Albert Pujols is my guess.
Look at you.
You're a genius. Who remembered that he played third?
He also played left field. Tony La Russa told me while he was playing third base, he will eventually win a Gold Glove at first base. And that was a couple of years later. That was a team that had Mark McGuire, Fernando Vina, Edgar Renteria, Mike Matheny, Jim Edmonds.
Pretty good defensive club.
Yeah. People forget Albert played left field too at times for St. Louis. Is he at home run in Anaheim yet?
I don't know the answer to that one.
Big concern a couple of days ago that he hadn't hit one, which would be the longest stretch, I believe, in his career to go without a home run as a major league player.
Should probably ought to release him.
Yeah. Angels host Oakland later on tonight. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Neuenhuis fouls it back.
You mean Seattle gets to play somebody other than Oakland? I thought their schedule was 160 games of Oakland. Played them in Japan and took a break. Played them some more. Had a home and home with them.
I think 9. They play them 9 times in April. It's down goes Neuenhuis. Third Medlin strikeout. Get your tickets for Braves Ultimate Kids Day, Sunday, April 29th here at the ballpark. Bring the family out to cheer on the Braves and take advantage of great activities for the kids, like a pregame parade, free Scouts Alley games, and free access to the Braves Museum. Visit Braves.com/tickets or call 800-745-3000. All the interactive video games out in the Taco Mac zone in the Fan Plaza. And of course, the best attraction of all, Braves baseball here in the early weeks of the season. Cedeno quickly down 0-2. Now 2-2. He paints the outside corner. Joe said it very well about Medlin. He is always in attack mode. 4 strikeouts in 2 2/3 innings of relief. In relief of Randall Delgado tonight. His spot's due first in this Atlanta half of the 8th inning. And Freddie Gonzalez will go to his bench. He'll call upon Juan Francisco to pinch hit. Just a guess, don't know for sure, but one would think day game after night game that it's unlikely Chipper would play tomorrow afternoon, at least as a starter. Chance to maybe get Juan an at bat. Inning of defense, perhaps. He plays third base tomorrow in the series wrap up.
Well, if that's the case, he'd really like for Acosta to throw him a couple of knuckleballs and get him ready.
Two balls and a strike.
When the Marlins got their franchise, I remember thinking, gosh, why don't they call them the Miami Marlins? You know, that's what they are. That's what everybody associates with South Florida.
Francisco drives the ball deep right center field. Will the ballpark hold it? It won't. A long solo home run makes it 9-3.
Kind of hit one-handed too.
Yeah,
like he got fooled. Got away from him. That's what it was. A great extension.
Third career pinch hit home run for Juan Francisco.
Ball jumped off his bat. I know, but I remember thinking when they called them the Florida Marlins that I thought that was kind of an odd way to go about it. And now they're the Miami Marlins, and I can't call them anything but the Florida Marlins still.
Wilson pops a foul and out of play. Yeah, the original thinking for the Marlins was they wanted the team to be a regional franchise. They wanted to draw from Orlando and Fort Myers and Sarasota and Fort Lauderdale and Jupiter. But with the heat, the humidity, and as we all know, those long rain delays, it's very, very tough to draw fans from outside the greater Miami area, much less the greater Miami area. They've really had all kinds of attendance problems for myriad reasons. But they're drawing very well at the new ballpark. And again, it'll be interesting to see what the reaction was and what the attendance was tonight for Ozzie Guillen's return.
Yeah, that will be interesting, but I hope they had a good crowd.
You know, Cubs fans travel well, and that's who they're playing, so that'll help the attendance down in Miami. Full count for Wilson. And Jack strikes out. He's 1 for 2. Top of the order, 1 down.
Some of the maturity of Manny Acosta right there. It used to be all fastballs, throw one harder than the next, and his fastball was pretty straight, got hit hard, but there was a 3-2 breaking ball.
Yeah, he's got a decent breaking ball. He's got a decent changeup. It's just, you know, like you say, he had that mentality. It was just harder, and you know, it looks like he's at least making an effort to make those other pitches a bigger part of what he's trying to do out there.
Michael scored a run tonight. Also stolen a base for the Braves. Now he'll ground to second. Murphy's got it. 2 outs. Here's Jason. Good cut at a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, he's still got some good gas, but his other pitches have really improved.
$18,732 the attendance tonight. Pop fly foul. That'll reach the seats. No chance for David Wright. like Eric O'Flaherty will get a chance to tune up in the ninth.
There's one of those high targets from Tolley, too, ahead in the count. Wanted to get a fastball upstairs to see if they could get it by Jason.
Passed first. We'll do it again. Don't forget, coming up on Braves Live, presented by AT&T, Freddie Gonzalez will talk about Game 2 of the series between the Braves and the Mets. We'll get sound from the locker room. Should be an excited bunch. Braves have 9 runs on 9 hits. Good approaches at the plate for Freddie Freeman, Jason Hayward, Juan Francisco's homer. Delgado line for his second win. Chris Medlin 2 2/3 innings of 1-hit relief. And a chance for the Braves again tonight to get back over 500 with a 6-5 record. 3 more outs to get. Another good take for Hayward. A 2-out walk.
Good night for the Braves all around. Time for our SunTrust solid performance. It has to do with the work by the Braves against the Mets. First 4 games, not much working. Only 8 runs. 9 runs tonight and 4 for 10 with runners in scoring position.
Ground ball by Chipper. Murphy got a convenient hop, and he'll make the play to retire the side. We head to inning number 9. 9-3 Atlanta.
The 9th inning where the Braves lead the Mets. Let's rewind to the last half inning. Eric Hinske had bat in hand, was ready to pinch hit. Freddie Gonzalez called him back. Now it was a laugh for Hinske because Freddie had to whistle about 6 times, and Hinske said, "Sorry, Skip, I was dialed in. I didn't hear a thing out there." So what happens? Juan Francisco gets a pinch hit, home run, his first as a Brave, and Hinske's reaction, he runs over to Freddie Gonzalez and says, "That is great coaching." And that is our Toyota play of the game.
That was great.
So Juan stays in the game. He'll play third base for Atlanta. And Eric O'Flaherty is on to pitch. Eric will go through the top of the Mets order.
A little bit of a rough start for Eric, especially by comparison to last year, but I don't know that you can compare last year to anything anybody else has ever done. So he'll get back on track here and get it working again. Tonight's a good time to get it started.
Scott Hairston will hit for New York. That's for Tejada. There's the AT&T call to the bullpen. Quiet night for the Pensmen tonight. Just Medlin and O'Flaherty in relief of Delgado. And there's ball 2. Hot hitter for the Mets is our Delta Airlines on deck batter. Look at what Daniel Murphy's done in his last 24 games. Ground ball. Francisco's got it. He'll load up. And he'll make the play. Hairston was batting for Acosta. Beg your pardon. And Juan takes care of him for the first out.
Great work by Medlin. Retired the last 7 in a row that he faced, including 4 strikeouts. Both sides of the plate. A good changeup. Great night for him.
Just heard us talking about him not having a strikeout yet.
Yeah.
Dial that notch up a little bit.
Took care of that.
Broken bat. Easy play at first. After our game, the Braves Live team will be bringing you a full recap of the game. The guys have all the post-game analysis, including interviews from the locker room. Beth Keener will be keeping you connected on Twitter. Stay tuned. After our game, the Braves Live. This game for the Atlanta offense. Remember, the Braves were 1 for 21 with runners in scoring position against the Mets coming into play tonight. They got a whole bunch of opportunities in the first and second innings and cashed them in. 5 in the second, broke the game open. 2 more in the 5th.
David Wright, in the games he's played, has reached base twice in every game. He's been on base once tonight.
Good call, Joe.
It's the longest such streak, which is now 8 games. It's the longest such streak in team history.
Joe, have you got the lottery numbers for this weekend?
9. 21. I'd give them to you, but I have to wait till 11.
Okay, fair enough. Here's Ike Davis. He's 0 for 3 with a walk.
Braves are comfortably ahead, but I'm happy for David Wright because of the injuries that he battled, what was feared to be maybe even career-threatening back injury that Tom talked about. But I'm happy for their franchise.
Freeman's got it, and the Braves are in the win column tonight. They even up the series against New York. They thumped the Mets by a final score of 9-3. We will step aside, come back with our final thoughts from Turner Field right after this.